If you want to create your own autopsy report for approximately half of the time using artificial intelligence, you are on the right place. Today we will start building our personalized autopsy report using artificial intelligence. Before we start, we need to talk about important issue. Artificial intelligence has an inherent problems with inconsistency. Everybody who used artificial intelligence as, for example, larger language models as ChatGPT or image generating artificial intelligence like Midjourney or DALL-E knows that artificial intelligence will probably give you not identical and sometimes a very different result, even if you bring her very similar or sometimes identical prompt. It will work for many purposes, but not for creation of autopsy report. Because of autopsy report needs to be very well structured, you need to use exactly the same language and exactly the same formatting. This issue with inconsistency of artificial intelligence will prompt the next topic, which is what language should we use to communicate with artificial intelligence. There are two ways of communication with artificial intelligence. The first one, it's most common. It's a human language. It's a traditional prompting. And the next one, it's less common. It's a language of programming. Each language has their own strengths and limitation. Let's start with a human language. Human language is very natural for us. It's easy and we feel secure when we communicate with artificial intelligence. All larger language platforms, like for example ChatGPT or Anthropic Claude, wants us to communicate with artificial intelligence using human language, using prompting. The medical scribe platform, Heidi, which I use for writing my autopsy report, also give instruction to use human language as a prompt. However, we know that prompting artificial intelligence by human language have a huge issue with inconsistency, which is very difficult to deal with. There is another language we can use to communicate with artificial intelligence, which is a language of programming. It probably feels more difficult for majority of us. However, we will not deal the issue of consistency, logical approach, and structure of our report. In this video, I will show how to build autopsy template without knowing much about programming. If you are still interested, keep watching. We are starting. Let's start with the exciting part. Let's go to our autopsy template. You have three possibilities. The first one, use my template the way it is. The second possibility, change it minimally with your verbiage but keep structure of this template. And the third possibility is to rebuild it, to build your own template completely from scratch. Today we will focus on my template and how to change it minimally. You go to my webpage forensia.org, link for this webpage is below this video. On this page you find a free membership. I decided to password protect my template to avoid spam. On a free membership menu, you choose sign up and choose free membership. Sign up page is quite standard. You put your username, password, email address and confirm your email address and push submit button. When you log in your account, you can see your membership detail under membership menu. You can see your account, your profile, and if for some reason you want to cancel your membership, you can always do it here. And of course, it's my own webpage, so I will never sell any data or any emails you leave on my webpage. Okay, and now it's exciting part. Let's work with our autopsy report. We go back to home page. We find resources menu. I will point your attention to the second sub-menu, which calls recommended tools and plugins, and we start from them. The first thing we need, it's a platform. It should be a secured and HIPAA compliant artificial intelligence platform approved to medical records. It's a number of them in the market. I happen to use platform called Heidi Health, and I'm still pretty happy to use them. I think it works well. I chosen at that time because it was the cheapest on the market. I have no complaint to it. If you decided to use this platform, you are welcome to use a link below this video or otherwise link on my homepage, and it's affiliated link, so probably they will pay me something, so it will be probably more incitative to create video like this. Okay, The second thing we need, which is probably not surprised, we need someone to help us to writing codes. I suggest using ChatGPT. I know that there are several other platforms, like for example Anthropic's Claude, that is able to write codes as well, and I tried it and it writes pretty good, but I still feel that ChatGPT do better job. ChatGPT has a very limited free version, which is not adequate for writing codes. You need to go to paid version. Paid version now it's $20 per month, and it's easy to sign up and easy to cancel. Anthropic Claude has an also limited free version. It's able to write codes, but as I say, I'm not completely happy with this. I have a link to ChatGPT below this video and on my homepage, and it's not affiliate link, it's just regular link. The third thing we need, probably not need, but it's nice to have, it's completely free software, open source software, small and light, calls Notepad++. It's a basically text editor, some way similar to Notepad we have as a standard in a computer, but it's like Notepad on steroids. And now we are moving to our template. We open resources menu and download submenu and autopsy template files. All of templates in the text format, so you can open it with a text editor which is built in your Windows. If you use Windows, a Mac has also a text editor. And otherwise, if you installed Notepad++, so you can open it with Notepad++. As of now, I have two templates there. The one of them called Python Autopsy Report Template for Forensic Autopsy Report Long Edition, and one of them is a Short Edition. And what is the difference in which of them you need to use? If you decide to test my template, otherwise to use my template virtually the way it is or with a very minimal variations, I advise you to use a long template, because this template built like a tank. It has so many redundancies and so many instructions for artificial intelligence to keep correct formatting. And this way it gives artificial intelligence very little to no way to change something or bring her own input, which artificial intelligence definitely wants. But the problem is this template is so long and so complicated and have so many redundancies, so it will be not easy to change it, at least change it significantly. If you have a plans, modify template significantly to bring your own verbiage, to own structure, your own headings, subheadings, I will advise you to use a shorter template, because of this template built completely different. It doesn't have redundancy, it just have all this information one place. If you need to change it, you change it just one place, and I hope it will work the way you want. Take in mind, this project is completely new project. No one done it before. So we are in complete trial and error situation. It works very well for me, and I hope it will work well for you as well. To move forward, we need to download template. I just noticed I put it late in the night. Why I put blue buttons? It does not work with the team. I need to change it to red. If your document will not open with Notepad++ and opens with the standard Notepad that is built in Windows, you need to push a right button of a mouse and choose Edit with Notepad++ if it's appear here. If it's not appear, you choose Open with and choose Notepad++. If it's not appear here, you choose another app and find Notepad++ here, mark it up and choose Always. So now all your text documents in future will be opened with Notepad++. Here is a longer version of our template, which I recommend you to use when you want to, for example, test how this template will work, or otherwise if you decide to use it the way it is. To make things easier for you, I share a screen between two documents. One of them it's a text document for artificial intelligence, and the second one it's a template in Word. So you probably can see how they correspond to each other. The artificial intelligence template start with the main chapters, which corresponds pretty much to my headings and subheadings in my Word Autopsy Report Template, which comprises of case number, toxicology result, external examination, internal examination, clothing, personal belongings, microscopic examination, toxicology, and so on. And now we are moving to commands. It's a lot of commands for artificial intelligence to write a report exactly the way I want. Some of these commands are written in a human language and some commands written in a language of programming, especially commands which will define formatting. The first command, it's a conditional splitting between external examination and a total autopsy report. This command say that if you use verbiage external examination only, the artificial intelligence scribe will remove a chapter with internal examination from this report entirely. And now we are moving to general instruction. These general instructions are in a human language. They came from the beginning of my attempt to use artificial intelligence when I tried to use prompting by human language. And I still keep them because I still feel that they are working. In this general instruction, you try to explain artificial intelligence very soft value, that you are medical examiner, you are writing your report. And if you don't have any parameters, never hallucinate, never make assumption, and follow exact formatting and structure that provided. In my report, I am using inches for height and pound for weight and metric units for everything else. But it's up to you. How do you want to do it? You just need to explain it to artificial intelligence. I want artificial intelligence to calculate BMI for me. I describe artificial intelligence how I want to format my injuries. But exactly issue with the formatting quite difficult to overcome. So I have a redundancy that I described artificial intelligence exactly how I wanted format in Python and also give some examples. In general instruction, I ask artificial intelligence to define default values and override them if it will be specifically mentioned, and give example for some default values. You know that some conditions are pretty common, so we describe them quite often. So I chose some conditions like, for example, pulmonary edema, like frothy secretions and airway in combination of pulmonary edema. So I decided to bring it at the command level. So if I give artificial intelligence command lung edema, so it will take a template for pulmonary edema, and I will give description artificial intelligence command frothy edema. It will describe pulmonary edema with the frothy secretions in airways. But if you want to use this, you are welcome. But if you don't want, you can drop them. So here it's example. If I execute command frothy edema, it will write for me the upper airways and trachea contain frothy foamy secretions, and it describes pulmonary edema changes, gross edema changes in lungs. The next thing that artificial intelligence can give us, and which I find very practical, when we give artificial intelligence the height and weight, it calculates BMI. However, everybody who works with artificial intelligence probably know that for some reason it does not good to mathematics. If you give her a complex formula, it's not always it can manage it. So that's why I divided formula for BMI for 2 steps. And afterwards it works nicely. So now I stop check it. It works very well. And it's something new that I added to my template. So standardly I'm using inches for weight and pounds for height. And now I want artificial intelligence to calculate it and put in parentheses metric values. So now I'm giving, for example, height is 68 inches. And in parentheses, it will write centimeters. In my description, I want artificial intelligence to make a conclusion. Is the person underweight, normal weight, overweight, obese, or morbidly obese? That's why I give artificial intelligence value for normal weight, for underweight, well-nourished, overweight, obese, and morbidly obese. So it means if BMI is less than 18.5, artificial intelligence will write for me in the text, the body is underweight, male, height, weight, and BMI. And for example, the body of morbidly obese, male, weight, height, and that's why I find it very practical, because of it saves me some minutes in each report. You can see it here on my Word document. The body is that of well-developed, well-nourished, and it put in brackets nourishment status. So it will be probably the body is that of well-developed, morbidly obese, inches. Now we give instruction regarding handling of clothing and personal belongings, depending on the input. Artificial intelligence have three parameters to choose. The body received unclothed, clothing is on a property receipt, and clothing and personal belongings are on a property receipt, which also saves time. Now we are moving to autopsy finding. Of course, autopsy finding I will definitely write by myself. However, I decided to give artificial intelligence to chance to find out which findings are abnormal. So it's not necessarily I will keep it, but let her write it. I decided not to bring so much regulation regarding autopsy finding. The only I want her not using numbering and bullet points. I just don't want to remove them. And I asked her to put it autopsy finding all abnormalities in the system, in the cardiovascular system, respiratory system, gastrointestinal system, and so on. The second part of autopsy finding will be description of traumatic findings, which I found very, very useful. Because I asked artificial intelligence to separate findings. So it will write me here in the description, blunt force injury on head and neck, blah, 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 blah. Blunt force injury of torso, she will write all of injury. Blunt force injury of extremities, so she will write these extremities. And the last part of finding is description of toxicology. And as a description of toxicology, I chosen to use a template including alcohol and drugs. And now is the body of the report. Comment. I chosen to bring some template for comment sentences which I often use, but you can do it whatever you want. Text in accurate brackets means that it's a variable and description of this variable is in the bottom of this template. External examination, and it's a variable external examination which artificial intelligence will use when it will describe my report. Clothing and personal effect, identification, and here we come to quotations. Text that set in quotation, it's a static text. It's a text that I chosen to bring each single time. Of course, in some cases I choose something else, but I do it manually because of in majority of cases it will be the same phrase. The next chapter, it's evidence of medical intervention with medical intervention variables, tissue donation with the tissue donation variables, and now it's exciting part, evidence of injury. What makes this artificial intelligence template so great? Because of it will sort out injury for you. If you had a chance to watch my previous video, you've seen that I dictated only finding of injury without any kind of sorting of any kind. So it means when I dictated head, I dictated everything at the same time. Scars, injury, natural diseases. And I dictated it not necessarily in order. So I dictate head and afterwards chest, afterwards back, afterwards this, and came back again. And artificial intelligence sorted completely out for me. So it means blunt force injury of the head, it will find, regardless where I put it when I dictated it, it will find it and move it under blunt force injury on the face. And blunt force injury of the, for example, right upper extremity, it will move under injury of right upper extremity. I chosen to make a sub headings with the blunt force injury of head and neck, injuries of torso, abdomen, back, right upper extremity, left upper extremity, right lower, left lower extremity, and so on. Because of, I can also, it take me just a seconds to put them together when I do report, but I find it very practical when it's sorted this way. Radiographs. It's also variables which you use when you dictate your radiographic findings. I usually not dictate radiographic findings in majority of cases. I just say that radiographs are taken and reviewed, or otherwise radiographs are not taken. And now we are moving to internal examination. Here it's also example of quotation marks. For example, a sentence previously described injury will not be delineated in this report in quotation. So it means this sentence with quotation mark will be used unchanged in all my report. Artificial intelligence will not change it and it will not remove it. If you remember in the last video, I told you when you work on your template, find variables, put them in brackets, and find static text and put them in quotation. Here it's one of examples of quotations of a static text. Ancillary test, microscopic, toxicology, evidence collection, person present at autopsy. Oh, by the way, person present at autopsy. Even if you have accent like me, it understands very, very well, even very strange name. And for example, if it's a just common name, so I even need to spell it. But if it's some kind of unusual spelling or some kind of unusual name, if you spell it up, it understands it perfectly. It's very, very easy. So we are over our structure part. I spent a lot of time optimizing description of my injury. If you don't regulate it, artificial intelligence will do it different way each time, and most likely it will put it on a new line with a bullet point and numbers. And I wanted her to be very consistent and describe my injury exactly the same way each single time. I wanted artificial intelligence to describe my injury only one way. For example, a 1.0 by 2.0 hyphen centimeter, written in a full word. Red hyphen brown abrasion is on the upper aspect of the left side of the chest, period. Next sentence at the same line. A 2.0 hyphen centimeter linear oblique abrasion is on the right upper abdominal quadrant, period, and so on. And it's exactly all these commands regulated exactly this thing, and it shows up that it was not easy. It probably formatting of injuries was the most difficult part of this template. So I described artificial intelligence exactly the way I want, and I also give her example of usage. And pretty much the same about scars, with the only difference that it will put scars on the identification features. And now you see quotation marks, so it closes chapter and start a new chapter, which calls external examination. And now here it's my verbiage for external examination. And if you want it, it's exactly here, you need to go and change it. However, if you begin to change this verbiage, keep variables. Because if you will change variables, you need to remember you need to change these variables over whole template. So it will be much easier for you, at least for beginning. Don't touch variables, just change verbiage. And here is an example of conventional splitting. If you watched my last video, I talked about it. Basically, this report has many conventional splitting. It's just one of most obvious, which is conventional splitting here. For male, you describe a male genitalia, and for female, you describe female genitalia. Identifying feature include description of identification bands, scars, and tattoos. And if tattoos are present, I want artificial intelligence to write tattoos are present and photographically documented. And describe tattoos if it's actively dictated. If it's not actively dictated and it's not mentioned, so artificial intelligence will execute sentence tattoos are not present. The same with the medical intervention. If you list medical intervention, it will write it word per word. And if you don't mention medical intervention or say actively there is no medical intervention, it will just write none. The same with the radiographs. If you mention radiographs, it will say radiographs are taken and reviewed. And if you actively describe it, it will put a description. And otherwise, it will be write sentence, radiographs are not taken. And now we are in a quite important part of our autopsy report. It's a description of variables. These variables have to be dictated each single autopsy. And if you don't dictate these variables, artificial intelligence will alarm you and say, oops, no, you need to say it. And these variables including organ weight, measurement of ventricles of the heart. It describes amount of urine and bile and stomach content, and so on. Ancillary tests are mentioned, but they will not be written if you not actively describe it. The same microscopic examination. And for toxicological samples, the standard text will be that samples are obtained, and you need to say what samples are obtained. For example, samples of iliac blood, vitreous fluid, and urine are obtained. So in this case, artificial intelligence will put a sentence, samples of this, and this are obtained and submitted for toxicology. The last chapter is the personal present of autopsy, and basically that's all. And I have the last chapter, which I created personally for myself. It's a chapter of addition of special injuries template. For example, Henning, gunshot wound to the head, unspecified gunshot wound, and unspecified stabbing wound. But probably this will be topic for completely another video. In this video, we went through a long template. For it not to make this video far too long, probably we will go through the short template in the next video. It's much shorter, it doesn't have redundancy, and it's much easier to change and customize. If you're interested in the topic of this video, don't forget to like it and write a comment so I can see that it's activity around this video. In the meantime, I advise you to install Heidi and drop there my template and dictate your own autopsy and see what happens. And of course, I want to hear about your results. I will do my best to create a small video regarding Heidi and how to put your own template there. And I see you at the next video. It was Dr. L, and thank you very much.